Hi everyone and welcome on my YouTube channel. My name is Mansur Lolagba and I'm Beninese. Benin is a country located in the West African part and is my where my country is located. This morning we're going to talk essentially about or mainly about the TOEFL exam or the TOEFL test, I would say, yeah. Because when I browsed on the internet, I didn't see many Beninese talking about TOEFL. While that's a very important test that many Beninese even used to take. So today, what I'm going to tell you is quickly give you an idea about what is the TOEFL and what you can expect once you are there to take the test, because I have actually take the test and I've a little bit seen and I've went through the different sections and I have a little bit an idea about what you can have there. So for after that, I will also give you some advices. Just I'm also a very I won't say a very beginner, but I'm still learning the language. But I will share with you guys what I've done before taking the TOEFL test and what I'm currently even doing to improve my level in English. Right. So as I was saying, today we are going to talk about the TOEFL test. I mean, TOEFL like test of English as a foreign language. So that's a very standard test that many institutions recognize. It is internationally recognized, and many students or workers who would like to study abroad or to travel abroad to continue the career, they used to take that test in order to give their English proficiency. And that's a very good test if I can give a testimony. Right. So what is really the TOEFL test? All right. The TOEFL test is that's not an exam. That's a test in order to know how much proficient you are in English. What is your level in English? Are you good? Are you intermediate? Are you an advanced English speakers? That is it. And I mean the the type of English, because I suppose or I assume that you know that most of the time we make the difference between two different kinds of English speaking. I mean the British English and the American English. And I think the TOEFL exam is based on American English. So if you have an American accent, you are more likely to succeed and to have a great score. Yes, I'm talking about score because the TOEFL test is actually grade on a scale of 0 to 120. Yeah. So it's a total grade of 120 you're gonna get if you have done a good job. So that's not impossible because I've seen many testimonies on YouTube. Some people they have got score of 117 out of 120, 119 even out of 120. So that's not impossible. You can do it too, and that's why we are here this morning, right? Right. So the TOEFL test is actually the different sections. Different sections. There are four different sections. The first is the reading section. The second, the listening section. The third one is the speaking section, and the last one is the writing section. So totally, you have four sections that you gotta go through. So we will go now, and I will explain to you what each section is based on or what you're gonna expect expect on those sections. All right, here we go. So the first section, the reading section. The reading section just tests your ability to understand some academic tests. So you will be given a test, and you will try your best to read the test and answer the question about the test you have just read. And in most of the cases, one we have no we have four or three reading texts. Then, in the case you have four texts, the last one is something like is not graded or something like that. So you in some cases you get three texts, and in some cases you get four texts, and you will be given an in average 20 minutes in order to read each text and answer the question about those texts. So it's 20 minutes per text. So that's why in the case you got three texts, for example, you will have 60 minutes to complete the three texts. And for if you have four texts, you will have 80 minutes to complete the four texts. So what is the particularity of the reading section? Yes, you would maybe you will tell yourself, or you maybe saying that, okay, I just know how to read my magazine. I used to read the newspapers. I used to read some books. But I want to stress in that the reading section, the reading texts are used or are made so that even if you used to read many kind of books, articles, if you don't have a really rich vocabulary, you won't be able to understand it, because they use different words than what we used to use every day. Just for example, a word that actually means a frog, for example, they will totally use another word that will also mean the same thing, but that you have never heard before. So you have to have a great vocabulary in order to have the abilities to understand the text. And you can also see the content, the context of the word in order to guess the meaning of the word. So this is a little bit what the reading section is about. So in summary, you have 3 or 4 texts with some multiple choice questions, and then you read the test first, and after you answer the question, and you have the possibility to come back on and answer that you've given before while giving your answers. For example, you have read your test and now you're starting answering the question, right? And you have answered question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you will be going, and on question 5, for example, you'll remember that, oh, I have maybe missed one question, or I have answered one question wrong. So you have the possibility to go back to that question in order to correct your answer and after continue. So in average, you have up to 13 or 14 questions on one text, about one text. So you have to give all those answers within 20 minutes. So that's a very great challenge that you have to take. So, but don't worry for that. It comes with practice. If you used to practice a lot, you will do it without any problem. So this is a little bit what I can say about the reading part. And after the reading part, we have what? We have the listening part. Yes, this is also another challenge, if I can say that. So I was saying that the listening part, you have essentially three kinds of of audios. The first kind is a discussion with the student and an administration member, and the second, a lecturer will be given his lecture in class, and you will have to follow him in order to know what he's talking about, what is the topic, and you will have an idea of what is the lesson or what the lesson is about. And after, you can have also those kind of audios where you will feel like in the classroom taking part of the course, because it's like interactive. The professor will be speaking, and the students will be asking questions and discussing at the same time. So you will listen to that conversation, and after you listen to those conversations, you'll be given, of course, some questions, also multiple type questions, and you will select the right answer at for each questions. So essentially, the question of timing is not, it's a great challenge as far as the listening section is concerned, because you will have 10 minutes to answer a sequence of three audios. But when the audio starts, the timing will stop and let you follow the audios, and when you will start answering the question, the timing will start again. So that is it. So average, you will have 10 you will have not 10, 20 minutes to answer the question, but overall you will be given you will have enough time to answer the question you want. It's not really difficult, or it's not really heavy like the reading section. And that is it. That is what I can say about the speaking part, and also what you need to succeed in this section. I will talk about it at the end of the video, of course. But what you are required here is to listen carefully what the lecturer or the speakers are saying, and you will be able to answer the question that will be given to you about what you have heard. That's simple. And once again, it comes with practice. Okay, now we move to the the third part. The speaking part. The speaking part is, for me, that was the very biggest the biggest challenge, yes, in while taking the TOEFL, because it require many abilities. Many skills. During the speaking section, you will be given six type of questions. The first type of question is a general question. You will be given a question about what is your daily activities, for example, or what you like the most. Anyway, that's gonna be something up to you. No, not up to you. It's something that depends on you. It's not oriented. It's just something that a question on which you have to give your opinion. I'm just disturbed when I say opinion, because okay, let's just take an example. For example, you'll be given the question saying that what I'm just taking an example for in just an example. Let's say, okay, um, what is, for example, or describe a place that you have uh, been once, and you have it has very amazed you, and you have kept it in mind. Just describe the place and say why this place is very important to you, for example. That's just an example. So in that case, you can see that you are free to say whatever you want. You are free to say, to describe the place, to say why you really enjoy that place. So that's up to you. This is the first question. The second question, you will be given a kind of oriented question where you will have to give your opinion about something. Okay, for example, they will say between staying at home to eat or going at a restaurant to eat, what do you prefer? What do you prefer, and why do you prefer that? So you have to make your choice and give some arguments, to give some example to support your point of view. So that is it. And the third question, I think that is a question um, about an announcement, an announcement on the campus. So a change is going to occur on the campus, and you will be asked to give to listen first. Okay, let me take it again. So I was talking about the third question. For the third question, you will have now. I mean, even from the third question to the sixth question, you will have to listen to some audios. Yes, some audios. That's why I was saying that it requires several skills. So for the third question, you will be given first a kind of announcement that will be, for example, a change that occurs on the campus in most of the cases, and you will read the announcement or a suggestion of a student. I mean, a student has written a letter to suggest something new on the campus, and then you will read the short passage, and after you will listen to an audio, I mean, a discussion about that new change that's gonna be that is presented in the reading passage. And after that, you will have now to summarize, I mean, to say what the 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 reading passage was about, and to say the opinion of one of the students about the changes. Most of the case, it's whether they agree or disagree with the change, the new change. So that is it for the third question. For the fourth question, you will be given an article about um, a subject or a topic, and the article will be describing the topic and presenting the topic. And after that, of course, you will listen to a lecturer talking about the same topic and giving an example in order to explain more what has been said in this in the article. And your job, or what you expected to do, is to describe the topic, which is what the topic that the passage you have read is about, and use what the lecturer has said in order to describe it more. So the lecturer may be given some maybe the lecturer have given some example, and you are required, or you are asked to take all those examples to explain the topic that you have read in the reading passage. So that's essentially what the fourth question is about. And then the fifth question now. The fifth question is about a, a problem that here you don't have anything to read, no more have anything to read, but you will just have to listen to a conversation between two students, and one of them has a problem and the second one is suggesting some solutions to approach his or her problem, and you will listen to that conversation, and after you will summarize the conversation by stating the problem and giving the different solution that will be given, and after you will give your solution. I mean, the solution that you think it's good or you think it's right for the situation of one of the students. So that is what you will be required to do during the fifth question. For the last question, I mean the sixth question, you are given an audio. You're going to listen to an audio, and that's a lecturer. That's a lecturer made by professor or I mean a teacher about a topic, and you have to take out or to bring out what the topic is about. I mean, at the end, your goal, your job is to while speaking, to take out to point out what the lecturer is discussing about, and what are the different reasons, what are the different descriptions, what are the different examples that you can take you have listening, what can take you have listening what he or she has said during his lecture. So that's an overview of the sixth question. I will I will comment that in my next videos for sure. So don't worry. This is just an introduction. And the yes, I didn't talk about the timing. Yes, the timing here, you will have the time to prepare each question and the time to answer each question. For example, the two first questions require a 45-second to be answered. So that's very, very, very great work that you have to do in order to stay within the timing, in order to state what you have to what you have to say within that timing in the span of this time. So that is it. For the other questions, they are required, I mean, 1 minute 60 seconds to be answered. So we move now to the last part of the section, which is the writing section. During the writing section, you will have two different sections. Two different questions. The first question, in the first question, you will have a text, and you will read the text. That will give you the time to read the text quickly, and after you will listen to a lecturer or a teacher or a man and a man or a woman talking about the passage, and most of the time the passage supports a given point. It may be in any field, but it supports a point, for example, and the lecturer is going to give his or her opinion about that point. He or she can disagree with that point or can agree with that point. It depends. Your final job, or what you are intended to do, is to give at the end a kind of to explain what the lecturer has said about the reading passage. So you will have to give the opinion of the lecturer about the reading passage and write it in a, and you have to write it. You have to write it down in a very good format. So that is it for the first part. The second part, you will be just given a topic that can be on anything, just a topic. Like I just take an example. For example, you can see a question saying that between uh, uh, going at school every time and staying at home to have online courses, what is the best? I'm just giving an example, so you can have such a question. So between going at school to have classes and staying at home to have online classes, what is the best? And give your example, your arguments, you give your reasons to support your point. So that's an example, for example, and you will have to structure your text and type it and write it and type it, of course. I mean, type it with your keyboard, of course, in the system. So that's a, a description of what the different sections of the TOEFL are about. So I don't know if you get it, but I will do also some other video to explain it further, to explain it more. So that is it for the TOEFL text. So to summarize, four different sections: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And I was even forgetting, you will have a mandatory 10 minutes of break between the listening section and the speaking section. So you will have to, you will go out in order to breathe a little bit, to, remember some things, to rest, to have a short break before resuming your test. So that is it for the text, and that's it. Now I'm going to give you some resources. I mean, or some advices, what I used to do or what I've done before taking that test. Most of the time, people ask me, "Hey, Mansu, how can we do to improve our level in English? How do we do to improve our way to speak very good and very fluently?" First, what I used to advise them is to convert the 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 environment into English. You have to stay in English. You have to do everything in English. You have just what I used to take as example is the mobile phone. I just say, okay, give me your mobile phone, and I will say, and I will see the language in which it is, and for most of them, it's still in French. That is not a good step, or that's not a good start for English learning. So what I recommend is to convert your environment, to convert everything you do in English, and that will very be helpful because it's what you learn that you're going to give out, if I can say that. So the first thing is to listen a lot to English and to read in English. I have, as far as the resources are concerned, the resources to prepare the TOEFL test are concerned, there are many free resources online that you can use for free, and that These are very useful resources if you really want to improve, if you really want to learn. So I've used many websites. I mean, just the few ones I remember is um, Mongoose, Noteful, TOEFL speaking. There are many different websites, but I will upload them in the comments so that you will be able to visit them. I mean, those who would like to start practicing, to start preparing the TOEFL test, you can also use those resources that I've used. So, the next advice I will give you is to listen to the podcast in English. Listen to the podcast, and that will help you to work on your listening abilities, on your listening skills, and at the same time, the listening is very useful from the for essentially for the listening and the speaking, because you have to listen to an audio and after answer. So you have to really work on that. And also for the reading section, you have to gather great vocabulary. You have to work on your vocabulary. You know, used to read a lot. I'm not talking necessarily about books or big books like this, or long reading passage. No, reading passage. I'm not talking about all this. But I'm just talking about, for example, you want to say something in English, for example, and you don't know the meaning. Just take your mobile phone, take your Android, take your iOS, check the meaning on it. That's why you require to install a dictionary app on your phone, and that will allow you to check every single word that you don't know, and that will will build your vocabulary, and at the end you will come up with a very great vocabulary. So that's what I can say about reading. Used to read a lot, used to translate what you don't know into English in order to have new words in your vocabulary. And I've talked about the listening, the reading, the speaking. Okay, about the speaking, what I will say, what is basically good, is what people say is they need somebody to practice with, maybe a native English speaker, right? Yes. But you have to put yourself in areas where you can be able to speak English, and don't be shy to speak English. English is not our native language as Beninese. It's not our native language as Togolese or whatever French country it is. But that's why. But many people just are afraid to speak it. But I said no. It's not our native English, our native language. We are learning English, so that's why we used to speak. We used to speak. If we made some mistake, people are there to correct us, and we will improve naturally our level. So apart from that, I want to end this video. I didn't talk about the writing part. For the writing part, that is not a big deal. What is very great, what people are afraid about in the writing part, is the mistakes. The grammar mistakes. I mean, all those kind of writing mistakes. Because if you have the good vocabulary, if you have the good inspiration that day, that's gonna be good. You'll be fine. But if you made too many mistakes, that will lower your grade. So what you have to do is to check the grade spelling of the different words that you encounter. And I mean, with practice, you will going to you're going to master all of those. Uh, okay, so that is it for all my different advices, and I think that very soon I will come up with other videos, and maybe the next time I will talk about, for example, how to what I will go further in deeply in the different part, and how you can manage with the time, how you can manage with the writings, the writing, how you can manage with the notes, because you have to take notes, and how you can organize your notes in order to give good responses, in order to give good good responses. So that is it. I thank you very much to follow me. I thank you very much for your attention, and just stay with me. And you can comment. You can give all the different comments that you want below, just below. Comment on it. If you have some question, ask me. I will answer you as soon as possible. And let's say that we will learn together, and we're going to be to speak English as native English speakers, and get our TOEFL, of course, because that's also our main goal. So get our TOEFL with a great grade, and finally to go whatever we want, and to have whatever we want. So I thank you guys, and let's say see you the next time for my coming videos. Bye bye.